Hi, everybody. I am here with world changer Dianna Bautista. I am so glad to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, thank you. I would love to first start out with you telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I've been able to use my career to help women who have suffered from poverty, domestic violence, and also from human trafficking by teaching them my career, which is hairdressing.
That is so cool. I just love that. That's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about your story that led you to where you are now?
Well, many years ago when I was a young girl, my father left. So I really had no father figure in my life. Shortly after, a man came into our lives as sort of a father, big brother figure and began abusing my brother. And that happened for about 10 years. He left our lives, and then I ended up marrying a man who was very, very abusive. So from the beginning, being abandoned, then being helpless to protect my brother, and then myself being abused, I really come to a full circle of understanding all the different realms of what people in the world and in developing nations go through. So I have been able to use what has happened to me for good, and being able to see women be free, see children be happy, and all that while having a foundation in the Lord is truly what makes my job so amazing.
That is so cool. I love that you're able to use what has happened to you. And as I've heard you say, it doesn't disqualify you, but in fact, it qualifies you to set these people free. That's amazing. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny that you say that about qualifying and disqualifying. I have every reason to believe that I'd be disqualified. But because of my faith and foundation in Jesus, I know I am fully qualified and capable of using my past and not sitting in it, not stirring in it, but standing on it firmly and saying, no, this is where I've been. This is where I get to go with that. And with the empathy that I have now for people in these situations, I'm able to empower them.
I love that. That makes me so excited for what God's doing in you, through you, and in his kingdom. All right, so what you do is serious business. As fun and as entertaining of a human that you are, and so funny, what you're doing is on the front lines. I mean, you are on that battlefield. Do you ever feel afraid?
You know what? I don't. I never feel afraid. I never feel in danger. And there are definitely moments where I am in danger. I was in Brazil one time and we were building our salon and I was painting the outside of it Tiffany blue. And a drug trafficker came up with his AK-47 and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" In Portuguese. And I said, "I'm painting. Oh my gosh, please." But of course I was very calm. But inside I'm like, he has an AK-47 right there, ready to go. And I was very calm. I just said what I was doing, and he said, "Okay, good. I like that color. Keep painting." And I was like, "Thanks. Okay, keep going." But honestly, it didn't even dawn on me that like I might die in that moment until later. Much later, I told my mom. Of course, my mom is panicking all over the place. But I'm like, "Oh yeah. Man, wow, that could have been a really bad situation." In those moments, I'm so calm. I just really, there's a reason why I go and there's a reason why others don't. And truly, to be in those situations, you have to be calm. You have to be strong. And I'm very relaxed in those situations. So, I'm scared of mice. I'm not scared of drug dealers. So, it just depends. Everybody's got their fears. That is not my fear. So, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you're made to do this, obviously, which is so cool. So how about for those of us who maybe are not made for this, who are less scared of mice than AK-47 say? Well, how are some ways that we can support you from over here?
The biggest thing that you can do is make people aware. Don't be quiet about these things. Abuse happens here in America. My brother was abused for years and no one had the courage to stand up and say anything. A lot of his friends were abused as well. No one had the courage to stand up and say anything. Don't be afraid to stand up and speak. It's a lot less scary to speak instead of having an AK-47 in your face or a mouse next to your bed. That's one huge thing that you can do is just make people aware. Just keep it in your common dialogue. These are the things that are going on in the world, and you know what? These are not okay. Stand firm in that it is not okay. Second, you can do is help someone go. And if you can't afford to, hold a fundraiser for them. You can do a bake sale. You can do a photo shoot. You can do a fashion show. You can do a garage sale. I mean, there's so many different things and different ideas that you can do to help fundraise for someone to go. Or fundraise for yourself and you go. You can do that. You can get out there in the world, and there's so many organizations and churches and amazing people doing amazing things in the world that so many people can be a part of. And globally and locally. Locally, oh my goodness, just go and work with alongside churches that are helping feed the homeless in their areas and help providing education for children and tutoring programs and things like that. Education is the key to getting out of poverty, and a foundation in Jesus Christ is the key to prevention in human trafficking.
So how so? How is Jesus Christ the foundation for prevention?
It gives you a moral foundation. It gives you a moral compass. It gives you spiritual foundation. And knowing that you have worth, knowing that you have value, knowing that you were created for a bigger purpose than to just exist, that's everything. That means that your body, that means that your heart and soul and mind are created for far more than to just be used.
And then the second part of our verse talks about perseverance and running your race. What you do must have so many obstacles. So can you tell us about a situation where you've come across an obstacle where you could have said, I'm out, this is too hard, none of it, and you decided to push through, and then what got you through that?
When I was building a beauty school in Kenya, it was so difficult to get things done. People are on their own time clock. They don't care. It's chai time. It's, I don't know, whatever the situation is, they take forever. I wanted barber chairs. I needed barber chairs. American Western barber chairs that pump up and pump down. They said, no, you can just have a plastic chair and it's much cheaper. I realized that it was a much further, deeper situation. It was about worth. They didn't feel they were worth spending double the money on a barber chair than they would on an office chair. And I really had to sit back and go, okay, it was definitely one of those situations where I wasn't looking deeper. I was on the surface. I was completely on the surface saying, this is ridiculous. I can't stand this. Take your dumb plastic chairs and I'm going home. And I was like, where's an IKEA? Just let me get it. It was so frustrating just, in these situations. But then it's like, no, there's a reason why. I think that was a huge thing, a huge realization for me that it's not just about teaching a trade. It's not just about teaching a vocation. It's about really getting into the heart of the matter and saying, you're worth this, you're valuable, and you are worth an education. Your family is worth being provided for in a dignified way.
What last advice would you have for these kids, things that you want to share, that you want to impart to them?
The biggest thing I think that I would want everybody to know is that you do not need to be a doctor to go out into the world and help people. There are so many people that are out there just giving what they have. All you need is a willing heart. I graduated high school and went straight to beauty school. I do not have a college degree. I do not have my master's or PhD, but if you are smart and amazing, you should definitely go get that. But even still, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm still an educated person. I don't need to have a degree to go do the things I do. I'm helping write curriculum for an anti-trafficking organization called Thrive, which is in Thailand, that I'll get to go help teach American students about what it means to combat human trafficking. I'm helping write curriculum for that. I do not have an English degree, and I'm not a doctor to be able to, or a lawyer or anything like that to help, but I'm able to give my knowledge of experience. And that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's about experiencing life. You can learn all about God all you want. You can do all this. You can read the Bible a million times. If you don't step out, if you don't leave the walls of your house, that safety zone, life begins at the end of your comfort zone.